Well, preparations are well and truly underway for the 2023 Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. This year, 113 boats will compete. Joining me live is veteran sailor Lindsay May, who's gearing up for his 50th consecutive race. Lindsay, how are preparations going?
Good morning, Ashley. Preparations going quite well. We've been out this morning for an hour just to check 2 new sails. They all fit and look good.
And what about the weather forecast? What kind of a sail to Hobart is it going to be this year?
This year is going to be a very difficult race from a sailing point of view. We're going to have a lot of rain, I guess. The other thing is it's going to be on the nose, upwind most of the way. We'll probably see 25 knots at some point in time, middle of the 27th, but it's going to be a wet race.
And what boat are you sailing on, and when do you predict to get into Hobart?
I'm sailing on a yacht called Antiquities. It's a Santa Cruz 67, and the skipper and owner is Jeff Hill, a good mate of mine. And we're looking at 3 days at the moment. Look, this changes every 6 hours. We do the routing, and we've blown out from 2 days, 10 hours to 3 days, 1 hour, just in the last 12 hours.
24 seconds.
Now, you're preparing for your 50th race. Tell me, what are your most memorable moments after competing in 49 races?
Well, there's many of them, but the most memorable moment is 1993 when we rescued John Quinn. We found him at night in the water, been in the water for 5 hours, and picked him up and got him back to Eden safely. A remarkable miracle, really.
It's an amazing story. Tell me, do you remember that moment when you spotted him in the water?
Oh, absolutely. It was just before 5 a.m. It was still dark, and we almost ran over him, and he was just about 30 metres off our port side, the left-hand side, and we just heard this, "Hey!" in the water, and we shone our torches around, and there was this black blob in the water. We spun around and got him on the boat, not without difficulty, of course, but we managed to get him on board.
And an incredible story. And then 5 years later was the deadly 1998 race. Why do you keep doing it? I mean, it is such a dangerous race.
I think I'm a slow learner. I understand you've got a bit of history in this race as well, 2010, and I had a look back, and that's the year I retired. I recall that was a really tough race, so you'll understand what I mean by being a slow learner.
Well, I only did one race, though. You're backing up for your 50th.
Yeah, I know. Look, it's just been wonderful. I've had so many generous owners over the years who've invited me to join their crews, people that you sail with that you get to rely on. As you know, your life depends on these people in many circumstances. And you get to the other end at Hobart, the welcome is just spectacular. And I really don't know what else I would do at Christmas time through to the 30th, 31st if I wasn't racing to Hobart.
And can you tell me about that? Is there a sense of addiction to this sport? Can you tell me about that?
Look, I think there is a sense of addiction. Like, interestingly, there's 146 people have done more than 25 races, and there's many in their 30s, so that's a lot of people. And you just get out, and it's just getting out into the conditions, the unknown almost. You've got a better idea these days with weather forecasts. But just crazy things happen along the way.
It really does. And what do you hope for this race in terms of your finishing up?
Yeah, look, I hope we'll do well. We've got a really good boat, a great crew. Jeff's provided everything we need to make the boat go fast, hence the 2 new sails that we went out checking this morning. And we've just got to make sure that we keep sailing this boat fast every hour, 24 hours a day. You can't give in at any time, and people have got to really think about themselves and do their absolute best to get every tenth of a knot out of this boat.
And in terms of the forecast, it's been changing. It's been all over the place. Are you confident it is going to be what it says it's going to be right now?
Yes, well, what has happened now is the various weather models that we use, the mathematical models, are starting to come in line. And the common thing we hear, like we try and work it out 10 days out, you can't do it. But the feature is we've got a low pressure system, a weak low, which is coming in over New South Wales and come out over the coast. So when you're in the middle of a weather system, either a high or a low pressure system, the winds become very variable in direction, and less so in speed. They're usually down pressure, but their direction changes. So there's some very quick, what we call flicks in the wind that happen at various times. And you've got to really make sure that you make the most of that. You might only make a mile or two, but if you do that on the competitors, well, that's all advantageous.
Well, stay safe out there and good luck for your 50th Sydney Hobart race.
Thanks, Ashley, and Merry Christmas to you.
You too.